Bobby, wait, I forgot we have a Fed Dead intro, and this is technically Fed Dead.
Hmm.
So let's save the niceties, okay? And we'll
Hmm.
just hit the intro, and then we'll pretend we haven't spoken to each other. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. See you on the other side, boss. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the world famous Late Night Grin, as we are back again for another edition of Fed Dead Redemption, a special edition, a pay per view preview edition. These are our favourite shows of the month because they're the ones that take the least effort, and we just name the match and we pick winners and do fun games about cage match. I have my wonderful co-host as always, Bobby Two Shoes, Robert O'Neill. Bob, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, pal. It's a weird week over here because we have a midweek holiday, so I'm off tomorrow and Thursday, and then I go back to work on Friday, and then I'm off for the weekend. So kind of strange, but other than that, looking forward to Survivor Series and all that.
It has got some hype, the Survivor Series, right? I don't know how much of that is on them, how much of that is on the concept of war games. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'll say, sort of in a broad way, you know, these graphics, these war games graphics, they do a little something to me. Get
Oh
me
yeah.
going a little bit. Hair stands up on the back of my neck. I feel it. I said I feel like you, Bob, when I look at those. I finally understand it. So there is hype. I'm excited for the show. I've watched very little of the build, but again, I like what they've got here. Um, However, I would like to start this with kind of a general talk about WWE, and we're now what 3 months, 4 months into the year of Triple H, right? 4 months. Yeah. There's been a lot of discourse, Bobby. You'll be surprised to know. Um, we could probably lead the show with that every week, but like, there's a lot of. It feels like people are kind of losing their patience a little bit. Bob would be my read on it. Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
yeah, to an extent, especially with Raw. I think people have really come around on SmackDown the past month or so. But yeah, Raw, people have been kind of complaining about because he's kind of done the thing where he's found the people that he wants on TV and he just features them, and there's not a whole bunch of other people on there, which can be good
Mm-hmm.
and bad depending on if you like the people he picks or not. I understand that. Um,
Right.
yeah, overall, I mean, it is kind of the same talking points. It's a lot of the stuff, and I talked about this with Oracle when we did the Crown Jewel show because we talked. It was like 100 days of Triple H or whatever. Like, it's a lot of the stuff where we kind of predicted all this was going to happen in July, so I'm not really surprised. But I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone else saw it coming. Really?
That was an incredible statement you just made because I believe you just took credit for like a take and said no one else saw it coming, which is unbelievable. Um, would you say it's bad that Triple H's whole formula for Raw being good was reliant on Rey Mysterio Jr. in 2022? Because from the outside looking in, that appears to have been what happened here, Bob.
Yeah, they haven't really found a way to replace him, and he was wrestling every week, and
Yeah.
it's weird because the problem was SmackDown didn't have like the star power, and they just kind of overcompensated,
Yeah.
and now we're here, and Raw just has a bunch of guys.
So that's one way to describe it. Let's do some names and numbers here, folks. Elias and Matt Riddle defeated the Alpha Academy. How much time would you give that, Bob, on a television match on Raw?
Probably like 8 minutes.
16 minutes and 5
Yeah,
seconds.
see, we don't need to do that.
Oh, it gets worse. Hold on. Drew McIntyre defeats Baron Corbin. 10, right? 10.
Yeah, 10, 12.
17 minutes and 50 seconds.
No reason for that.
Very unfortunate. I don't watch these shows, of course, so I could be wrong. Those matches could be good. I might have liked them if I watched them. I don't know. It's not my job. But, I think it's an interesting time. Do you think it's as simple as just the brands are all messed up in terms of like talent pool? What do you think the deal is? Or is Raw being 3 hours just deaf? Is that never going to work?
Yeah, I think, and especially during football season, like I don't want to say they know people aren't going to be watching and they kind of
Yeah.
don't give a full effort, but it does seem like this every year. In theory, there's no pay-per-view after this weekend till the Rumble, so the TV should be elevated, should, be more important. We'll see if they actually do that, though.
In theory, yes. We have some business to handle, Bobby. LK3185, our pal Matt on Twitter, not the confirmed shoot for the casual fans watching here. He has resubscribed with Prime, subscribed over 6 months. He uses some mathematics to say halfway to a year sub. Factual. Don't watch the Fed really anymore. That makes 2 of us. We'll be checking out the WarGames. Should be a hoot. All how, lads. Thank you very much, pal. We love you. Thank you for joining us. I agree. WarGames is going to be a great time. I'm just being silly. Also, another great friend of the show, Avalanche Style, resubscribed 3 months now with us. That's a quarter of the way to a year, Bob. Do you know that?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Quick maths for you, folks. Okay. Okay, so we're not completely out on Paul's World Wrestling Federation. Just it needs some adjustments. Is what we're saying. Is that what we're saying, Paul?
Yeah, but you don't want to be one of those wait till the draft, because we've also done that. I think on this show since he's taken over, and there's no draft in sight. So
why did they move the draft? That was strange.
I don't know if they just wanted to do it after Mania.
Yeah,
it makes sense to do it after Mania, but you also, I mean, there were circumstances. He took over. He could have just put people where he wanted, and everyone would have been fine.
He could have done like a draft in October and then waited till the next Mania cycle, but got his pieces in place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of this sort of inevitable momentum loss. But as a great man once said, you get what you get, I suppose. Okay. Nonetheless, let's get into the Survivor Series. Our friend Montgomery will be joining us in about 20 minutes, I think. He's always excited to talk about WWF, as we know, Bob. He's been accused of being a bootlicker. Have you seen that?
I have.
How do you feel when you see someone else get those kind of accusations, Bob? Being, you've gone through it, you fought those in court. What does it make you feel?
Yeah, I'm mostly just glad it's not me anymore.
Yeah. Well, is it not you anymore? Does it never get thrown your way at all anymore?
Not really.
That feels like a mistake on our part, doesn't it? All right. To work on that. Yeah, okay. So Monty will be here soon. When he comes here, we'll catch him up on the matches. Let's work through the stuff that, how do I say this politely? Who could possibly care?
Well, and before we start, I actually have a question for you. And I know you haven't watched, but in theory, if you have watched, would it bother you that the WarGames matches have gotten the majority of the focus? It's
no,
kind of
I
what
would
the show's
actually,
about, right?
Yeah, I would suggest that.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem in wrestling now where people feel like every match has to have like an angle paired with it. And I think all that does is dilute the actual angles. But I am also old, so that maybe, I think there will always be a part of me, Bob, to be totally honest, that is like, I don't think there should be 2 WarGames matches. But I completely understand that, you want to give the women's division a WarGames match, so you kind of have to just do both.
Yeah.
It will always be weird to me because, it's WarGames. The idea of opening and closing a show of that match is kind of absurd. But they're different kinds of matches. No one bleeds. Everyone just does, stunts and stuff, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be fun. But, yeah, that's the only thing that kind of stands out for me. I will say, we can get into this a little bit later, but just quickly while you brought it up, it doesn't feel like they've now the women's WarGames build to me, Bob. Would you say that's a fair assumption from the outside looking in?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because those original 6, have been feuding for 3 months or whatever, and the ones that have been added, they're just kind of there. Which the match will be good, but they could have done a little better.
Yeah, not everyone in the match wants to be in it, and all of the factors that come with that, and. I respect it on some level. Speaking of things we don't want, Seth freaking Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. In all seriousness, I'm very confident this will be good. But interested in this one, Bob? There's still a lot for you?
No, not really. All 3 are all right in the ring, varying degrees of all right. Some are better than others, but I think Theory's had a really good couple matches, to be honest with you. And, working with those 2 guys, they'll be fine. I don't care about 2 of them, and I really don't want Lashley to just have that belt again. So that's really where it gets tough.
Very fair. Can you clue me in before we get to predictions, cage match, and all that good stuff about what is happening with Mustafa Ali? There's a lot of talk. He's in this, but he's not in this, is what I'm gathering on this, Bob.
Yeah, it's been weird because they're just kind of kicking the shit out of him every week. And I know they do that with baby faces, but I don't think it's really having the effect that they want it to have because everyone just doesn't care about him, thinks he's a loser.
have you considered that maybe it's having the exact effect that they wanted it to have?
Well, that's fair too. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not going on a limb here, but I
Hmm.
just, I mean, he's still a wrestling booker. Wrestling bookers are known to pop themselves on occasions. I think you
That's
get what
true.
you get. So he is not in this for anyone keeping note at home. The Seth freaking Rollins appears are likely to win this, Bob. Is that a fair guess? I mean, he just got this belt, what, about a month ago, something like that. He's going to
Yeah.
keep this thing, right?
I think so.
Okay. Now, what is the plan with a Seth freaking Rollins as US champ? He's a guy who is, whether we have fun at his expense or not, he's obviously a top guy for WWE, right? He's very, very popular. He's had a great year. Is him as US champ the result of the Roman Reigns situation? Or is this indicative of kind of, this elevation of the US belts that we've discussed so often in recent times?
It's interesting because there were times where it felt like, the top title on Raw this year,
Yes.
when Lashley had it in particular. But, I think it's been the women's title for the past, since Bayley came back, since that feud started. So, I don't know if they're trying to get back to kind of having another title that can be propped up like that, or, I just think they're going to do a bunch of open challenges with it and not actually do a story too, which I'm not super thrilled about, but
very fair. Very, very fair. We'll be joined here momentarily. The graphic went down for a reason. The aforementioned bootlicker that is Montgomery will be here. Bob, give me a guess. Some people in the chat are doing it. Who do we think is taking this belt from Seth freaking Rollins? And is it a WrestleMania deal? What do we think is going in that direction?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Cody because I do think Cody's coming back and winning the Rumble. Maybe they're going to build up Gargano for it by WrestleMania. I mean, they are on an interesting path there, I think, right now. But maybe he'll start winning some matches because, you look at the other guys on Raw. He's facing Lashley. He's facing, Theory. It's probably not going to be one of them. He already did his stuff with Riddle. You don't need to revisit that. Doesn't really feel like it's the best use of a guy like Kevin Owens.
Bobby Roode it is, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, probably be a good match, but
yeah. What happened with Johnny Gargano? Did he just lose clean to the Omos?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. He's another guy that maybe they're trying to build up or whatever, but there has to be a better way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Omos is very tall.
That's true. Big guy.
I've heard that. Him and Satnam Singh would be a hell of a match, Bob.
That would rule.
That would give us some content finally at last. Okay, so you're going with Seth here. Final prediction. Yes, Seth Rollins going to win?
Yes.
Any read on the finish in terms of who he pins and how they set that up, so on and so forth? Or, okay, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know if you just have Lashley take out Theory and then Seth gets the pin by throwing Lashley out of the ring or whatever. You do one of those, but it doesn't make sense for him to pin Lashley.
The old Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
that finish. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Hopefully they don't pin Bob Lash. Hopefully they can find some interest from him. I assume he's going to work Brock again, right? I would guess.
Yeah, it seems like they're leaving it open for a third one. I don't know if it's going to be at the Rumble or Mania, if they're going to try and drag it to there, but that seems like a plan.
Speaking of dragging it out, here he is, the wrestle purist himself, representing Latino Heat. Oh, mate?
Yeah, man.
How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Pretty average Tuesday. Yeah.
We need to come up with better answers, man. When one of us asks the other if they're okay or if they're doing all right. We never have any good answers.
We need better questions. How are you is a bit boring, isn't it?
What are you
going to say, bro? Look, if you've had a shit day, you're really going to go on for 10 minutes about how shit your day has been.
Manny does.
Oracle was.
Yeah, but Manny does it in the Manny way. Manny does a stand-up bit.
They've got talent, those two fellas. Yeah, I don't know. We have to figure it out off screen. One of our post shows, yeah.
How are you feeling about wrestling this week?
That would draw much more. That would get much more positive responses. Absolutely. Look at this. Tiff Strap Barmy Army is here.
So he knows the vibes, bro.
Hey,
I know the stars.
Awesome. All right, Monty. We've just been talking about this US title match. Who you got? Seth freaking Rollins here?
No, I don't care, man.
Oh, come on. We're excited for this one.
Actually, I'm excited for the pay-per-view, but that match, I'll just stop. Whatever. the build has just been Mustafa Ali getting the shit kicked out of him, which is fucking hilarious to me. But it is what it is. Oh man, Steph's probably gonna retire. It's a bit early in the reign. The way it was being described to me by friends is that Steph's done a lot of putting people over this year, so that was kind of the ball he was given to run with, which is quite, I mean, what it is, what it is.
I would empty my bank account to be able to walk up to Seth freaking Rollins, pat him on the shoulder, and be like, "Here you go, boss, US title. Don't worry about it. I told you I had your back." All right, no problem. Works for me. Okay, let's do our cage match game. I'm going to set the line at this one for 7 because I think this match is likely to be good. I don't want to go higher than that, but I'm setting a 7 over under. Seth freaking Rollins, the Austin Theory, the Bob Lash, Bobby over under a 7 on cage match.
I'll go slightly over.
Slightly over. Monty, what you got?
What, on cage match?
Yes.
8.2.
You heard they've taken over there? Triple H and his merry men.
It's true.
Bruce Pritchard's made a load of accounts. That's his new job, Bruce, in the office. Has to review the matches. Has to write believable reviews of them so he doesn't get banned. All right, I think that match will probably be really good in all seriousness. There would be a really good of those matches, that multi-man structure they do, and you plug in the old Seth Freak. Yeah, you got a big man. You plug in the 2 moves guys. It'll probably be good.
Is Theory a moves guy?
I don't know. I've never seen him wrestle.
He's athletic, I guess, but he's not,
The thing that's funny is they're so close to accurate. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. There are many people at ringside for this. The Luke Gallows and Kyle Anderson tag team known as the OC and the Judgment Day. Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley. Lots of people involved here. Once upon a time, this would be my most anticipated match. It is now a match that I simply hope is very good because I would be kind of bummed out if it wasn't. I still think AJ is legitimately good. I think Finn still is the same wrestler. I don't think he's dropped off at all. What?
I'm looking at cage match ratings and I'm looking at Full Gear.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Darby Sting versus Lethal Jarrett.
No, that's fucking bollocks, mate. Don't you start. I got really mad about that.
I thought it was I thought it wasn't. I thought it was. I thought it was good on a genuine level. Not good, like I'm getting my Jarrett popped. It wasn't even.
Bro, they just pretend Jarrett's bad.
Yeah.
It's that fucking all caps machine gun treatment. Coming for the faves again. Finn Balor's really good. AJ Styles, I think, is still very good when he's in the right spot. I like him as a TV wrestler a lot. Sometimes on pay-per-view he's been kind of spotty in recent times. I think this will be good still. I don't know if it'll be like a classic or anything. I don't know if that's the right thing to expect, but I think I'm going to have a good time watching this one. Bobby, what do you make of this AJ Styles Finn match? Excited?
Yeah, I think it has probably the highest floor of the 3 non-WarGames matches. It's going to be technically solid and all that. It's just a matter of can they find the next level and what do they really have in them? I like their other pay-per-view match, and then that was 6 years ago or whatever. So it's hard to say. I think it's gonna just all lead to another big Edge return anyway. So
on this day,
yeah, exactly.
He sees clearly, doesn't he? Monty? He does. What was his thing he used to say at the start of the Judgment Day theme? You think you know me? You never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Carry on, Bob.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be good. They're both good, but will it be great? Will it find the next level? Is the question that kind of remains to be seen. And, will it kind of feature everyone at ringside getting involved and kind of doing what they did at Extreme Rules, which I enjoyed, but you got to be careful with how you do that.
I think it does help that Triple H is a nerd, and so will absolutely want this to be like a takeover match.
Yeah.
That may help, as opposed to a Vince-produced version of this match that's just them doing a WWE match until run-ins. Montgomery. You excited for AJ and Finn, brother?
I guess it's a good way to see like, where's AJ really at right now, you know? Because sometimes you see him and you're like, then sometimes you see him and you're like, oh, what was I thinking?
back,
It's like so. He's kind of had I saw a graphic earlier where it's like he's lost his last 10 pay-per-view matches. He's kind of had the shit kicked out of him ever since he dropped the titles with Omos. And he hasn't really been in a program that's got you fired up about seeing him wrestle. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. I'm hoping it is as good as they can really be. I hope AJ Styles is kind of I don't know, like, really wants to go all out, has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, wants to kind of Then obviously Finn is like someone like the perfect person for AJ Styles to do that with, I guess. So
he had some really good Raw performances right at the start of the Triple H regime. Like, remember when he had that main event with Miz where he took a fucking bump to the floor? It's like a no DQ match. And he had one with Ciampa. I did something with Ciampa, like a triple threat or something. I forget. So, I think he's still capable. I think a big thing with this match is placement. Like, if this is on after something big, it could kind of die a little bit. And they'll still be good fundamentally, but it won't, explode. If it's in the right spot, I hope it catches fire. I'll agree with you guys. I would love nothing more for when we review this show to be like, this match fucking ruled. I'm willing to pretend if it gets me close enough to the finish line. We will see how it goes. Monty, are you taking AJ to turn around this losing streak, or you got Finn to win?
I guess.
AJ? What does that mean, AJ? Yeah.
It doesn't really matter though, does it? It's just like it's one of those
matters.
feuds.
This is
It
professional
doesn't,
wrestling.
man. It's one of those feuds, bro.
This is the winner's purse. Did you not hear Jim Ross at Full Gear? He said it in every single fucking match. Even the ones he didn't announce, he talked about the winner's purse. God, pay window, Bobby. Who you got?
Yeah, I hope AJ wins, and they can all kind of do something else just because they've been doing this since WrestleMania now, and it's kind of different form than how it was, but we could just move on. I think to something different for all these people.
This is absolutely accurate. This is important to stress that even if this match fucking sucks, AJ is 45 years old and had 18 years of being awesome. It'll be okay. We'll still put him in the late night Grin and Wrestle Purists Hall of Fame. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? All right, cage match line. I'm again going to set it at a 7. Once upon a time, I would have set it much higher, but I genuinely think that's the right place for it here. Over under, Monty, a 7 on cagematch.net for Finn Balor and AJ Styles.
Over. I'll go. Good. Yeah, I'm just going to say over.
You didn't seem... Okay, that's good. I like it. Bob, over under.
Yeah, I'll go over.
This is what I'm talking about, boys. Bullet Club propaganda over here. You know what I mean? TNA forever.
Triple H is,
He's going to want it to be. He's going to give them a lot of time, isn't he?
Yeah.
Speaking of the kind of match that needs a lot of time, SmackDown Women's title, Ronda Rousey and Shotzi. This is fucking awesome. I don't care what Monty says and how he rolls his eyes or gets spiteful. It takes balls to do this kind of match on any platform, let alone the Survivor Series on pay-per-view.
No stipulation, as far as we know.
No steps. It takes real courage. This is what I'm looking for from professional wrestling, folks. I don't give a shit about all this logic, Well, let's just book a nice little wrestling match. They'll go 3 stars, Let's do Natty and Ronda, I don't need that. Give me floor of a 1/4 star, ceiling of 2.5, and let me roll those fucking dice. You know what I mean? Let me live with it, man. I don't need good wrestling. I want this.
There's enough of it.
This is fucking nuts. Do you know how bad this match could be, bro? This could be. But all it takes is one crazy dive spot, and it's a match I'll remember forever. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up, and I'm fired up for our friend the Contrarian, who's going to be excited, ready to go. Shotzi action figure over his shoulder. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm revved up for this one, Bobby. You should be too. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, they had a SmackDown match in I think it was June or July that was not terrible, but
never mind.
that's SmackDown and not
Kind of
Survivor
undercuts the
Series,
novelty of this slightly, but okay, carry on.
not one of your big pay-per-views. So I hope it's good. I hope they don't go crazy with it in terms of timing because they could lose the crowd. Maybe they have something planned after it, some sort of return. I don't know who it would be, but
You don't know. You're just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, I don't want to speculate, but Charlotte was doing some sort of photo shoot thing on Instagram, and she had a comment pinned on there that was 14-time women's champion. So it seems like she might be back soon.
I thought you were talking about Mercedes Moné.
No, she'd make sense to come back too, but I don't.
What
think
do you mean? Come on, hang on a second, Bob. What is he talking about? Come on, what does that mean?
Don't call it that,
pump your fist for the Queen, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, but don't call it that, bro.
I don't think we're seeing her on Saturday anymore. I thought at one point maybe we would, but it doesn't.
Bob's got news. Bob, what do you got?
It just doesn't seem likely. I mean, I thought she could maybe get a last spot, but that's apparently going to someone else. I don't know if we should spoil that, but it's kind of out there. I mean,
I think we don't need to, but I think it's pretty obvious based on the fact that it's always been the logical route, All right, that's fine. What was we talking about? Oh, yeah, Monty, do you want to see Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey? You're such a... Look at you, dude.
I mean...
You're still pretending Shotzi's not the best wrestler in the world.
I'll pop for the chaos of it, but you shouldn't hope for that, If that makes sense.
Do you want, mate?
It depends the type of chaos that you're talking about. I'm not talking about dives. I'm talking about shoots.
Punches, yeah, that's fair. I don't want to get hurt in there, you know what I mean? The last time I previewed a Shotzi pay-per-view match, pay-per-view match, we were concerned about what she would do with ladders. And I think the result was Alexa Bliss posting a sort of press release to announce that she hadn't died.
It's good fun.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I hope it's fun. I hope it's good. I legitimately like Shotzi. I know that she's like super inconsistent, but I think she's like a fun wrestling person. I mean, people like her, I haven't seen any of this run, so I'm but when she previously to the main roster, I thought there was something there. So I hope she actually has a nice match and connects with these people, with this audience, and we'll see how it goes. We've all got Ronda a win, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lock it in. All right, this quickly before we do the catering thing. Bob, put your let's lock this in now. Who's coming out after the match? Is anyone coming out of the match, or is it just going to be Bad Reputation playing while they cut to an ad break?
Yeah, I think if it's anyone, it's going to be Charlotte, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Monty, come on. Who's coming out?
Nikki Bella.
Good call. Good call. Very good. All right, I'm going to set the line at a 5. Over under.
Jesus. Under?
Oh, come on. Bobby?
What do you mean?
I don't know, man. That last match has a 5.75, and that was before KJ got taken over by WWE. So this could be like a 6.
There you go. You doubt me as an over-under, man. I know what I'm doing here. All right. What the hell was that? Was that Montgomery again?
It was.
All right. Let's get to the big stuff now. WarGames. Turn his camera off, didn't mute himself. Incredible. WarGames. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and TBA versus The Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, as well as Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. I like all of these women very much. I'm excited for this match. Bobby, has the build done much to assist that, or is it more a case of, like I just have, looking at the names and saying, I like these people?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I was going to be excited for it either way, I think, as long as they didn't, do something like put Dana Brooke in it or, someone I just actively don't want to watch. But, The build's been what it is, man. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but
Yes.
like they got a lot of good pieces in there. Like Io's got experience in there, obviously. Rhea's been in there. I think Mia was in one of the first couple. So, and then you got people who haven't been in it, but I trust to know how to put on a really good match in that sort of setting.
Absolutely. Monty, what have you made of the build for this Women's War Games match, Chief? Try to remember if they've done any.
It's just brawls and shit, isn't it? Proper, Triple H. Oh, cut and dry. A few brawls.
Dude,
Few.
I watched the angle, and like Bianca was just beating the shit out of them. And then like they finally got some upper hand. Alexia's kind of knocked out Io Sky with one punch, and they're just like beating the shit out of him again. It was a good punch. Don't get me wrong. But Willie's right. They've beaten him up a lot. There is an elephant in the room here, boys. I have to do a 24-hour stream if Alexa Bliss makes it in this match. I do want to quickly establish a rule now, so we have no doubt even when this happens. If Alexa Bliss does the Dakota Kai thing of getting out of the cage and then immediately leaving, does that count?
I don't think so.
Chat.
I think she has to actually get in the cage.
First, she has to be in War Games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you're actually doing a 24-hour stream, bro. Like,
You don't think that's the thing I would do purely to prove a point? I mean, come on, you know me well.
I do, but I think you.
This is fair.
I don't know.
12 hours for that.
Okay.
It's fair. We only have
I've got 100%. I've got 100% faith in the 12.
20. Well, I might die. Anyway, what a way to go. So the elephant in the room is that Alexa Bliss. How would we put this? Well, she didn't seem to care very much about this match. So much so that Corey Graves threw up the bat signal. My question to you, Bobby, is: did he do that because a turn is ahead, or did he do that to make some sense of how uninterested Alexa has become in this whole thing?
Yeah, he's probably just trying to make some sense of it and popping himself.
Yeah. Monty had a different read. He texted me very confidently. He was adamant. We were discussing it. He said, all caps is turning heel. Professional wrestling is back on US soil. Monty, are you sticking to your guns on this Alexa Bliss heel turn? Because that feels like one of the actual...
That's absolutely what's happening.
All right, map this out for me. Come on, book this angle.
Oh, man. She just fucking... I'm just like 94% convinced that Alexa Bliss is going back to the goddess at some point. So, yeah. Can't be what it is.
What does at some point mean? Does that mean it's Saturday night in Boston?
I don't know, man.
Because if the fifth woman is who has been reported is, the baby faces you would assume would win unless there was a turn, right? To give them an out.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, lineup, it's like they've kind of teased stuff. I don't even know if they have teased the Alexa or Corey was just saying that one line. I don't know. Was anything else on there, Bob?
Yeah, I don't think so. I know we've all kind of thought, after WarGames, there's not really any reason to keep the babyface group together.
Yeah.
And she seems more likely to turn than Asuka would be.
Yeah, I think so. Although I maintain that would be like a really fun shock,
Oh, yeah.
If Asuka just had enough of being like backup dancer, I was like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
The Bray Wyatt thing is important, I guess. They do that, they kind of just pop themselves that shit, don't they? Hasn't he been in the live segments too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. All right, let's kind of get into the more of this here. Rhea Ripley and Asuka last night got some very positive reviews. I know they struggled previously to kind of connect in ring. Mania match was sort of weird.
Yeah.
Monty, what did you make of the Raw main event?
I thought it was really good.
Good.
Really solid match. Kind of what you would have expected if there wasn't that underwhelming match that they had in the past, sort of thing. Good bit of business.
Rhea is like I was talking to someone about this last night, and because I saw her match on NXT with Roxanne. Like sometimes I think being on the apron, being on the outside of the ring can like help a wrestler really figure it out. She was great before, but like by all accounts, she seems to just be in a better spot than ever. She's really figured it out, She was already awesome, obviously. Bob, what did you make of Asuka and Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, that was great. When they announced it, I was kind of a little concerned because their past couple matches in the spring were not very good. But yeah, this one was very good. They did a good job with it. And one of the only parts, I think, of the show last night that really sold the pay-per-view.
Bob, when you said in the spring, are you aware that was like last year?
Was it? Oh, yeah, yes. It was. Damn. They wrestled at, WrestleMania in Tampa. There was a whole nother one this year. You're right. Yeah, that was last year.
That was when you were doing the Corner 3. We didn't even know this piece of shit then. He was just one of those pricks on Twitter that we used to get mad at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I thought that was this year. You're right, though.
Fucking Grinny didn't exist. The dog mascot. The Late Night Red didn't exist.
It's true.
It was a different time is what I'm saying, Bobby. God. Wishful thinking they'd take me back. So anyway, that match was good. I'm glad to hear it. Where are we at with Damage Control? It feels like Rhea has kind of become the centerpiece of this heel side from what I can gather. Is that a compliment to her, or is that kind of a result of Damage Control calling off Monty? What do you think? Where are you at on Damage Control at this point? They've had a kind of weird run thus far. Very uneven.
I guess in hindsight, it was quite ambitious.
Yeah.
To just think like Bayley's going to carry these two other women who, for as talented as they are, they're not known to the wider audience. So to like stick them with Bayley in a time when she's going to put her over with Bianca and try to get them over, it's tough. That's like you're putting like a lot into like Bayley's stuff, And I guess they are kind of more familiar, but you can't say it's turned out perfectly, But I guess they are some sort of presence on the female roster, and they kind of are established, but not quite as you want them to be,
Yeah. And Io kind of feels like it's like Io Shirai portraying a different wrestler. Like she doesn't feel like she has any of the things that make her like special,
Yeah.
Like she's just plugged into like a different role.
There's been with both of them as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
absolutely. Bob, where are you at on the Damage Control Act at this juncture?
Yeah, it's hard because I like all three of them, and I just want it to work. It's still the problem has been it doesn't feel like it is where it should be, and that's been the problem. A month in, 2 months in, and still now, and it's just like at some point you got to get there. Maybe Saturday can go a long way in that, but like it also feels like I don't know if it's worth keeping all of them together.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to it. Prediction time. It feels like by the end of Survivor Series, one babyface team is going to win and one heel team is going to win.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to consider that, I think, with what you do here. As much as I want to go with Monty's, his guess, his prediction, what he texts me in excitement, I think the babies win this one. With the big return that will be announced on tomorrow night's television. I like the way we're all saying this like it's been taped. I think they're going to win this one, and then that will, we'll get to the other part of it in a moment. But I think the babyface is going to win, and there will be no turn. And there will just be babyfaces, and they'll all raise each other's arms and pump their fist and win this match. That's my current read on it. I kind of hope I'm wrong, but let's let it play out. Bobby, who you got in the Women's WarGames match?
Yeah, it is interesting because I am more confident, I think, in the heels winning this one than the other one, which is surprising considering who's in the other one. But I'm kind of on board with this Alexa turn now because, if they have the big reveal of who it is, the babyface really shouldn't lose unless there is some sort of swerve. But the thing is, like, Damage Control really hasn't ever gotten one over on the babyface belt. I mean, the tag belt and stuff, but like, yeah, that's fair.
Tag belts twice, Clash.
Yeah, but like as a unit, Bayley hasn't been able to beat Bianca. That's been a whole thing. Well, she has, but not like,
I'm with you, but I think fair.
And it just kind of feels like, especially if you're going to just break up the babyface team anyway, which seems to be the thing that would make a lot of sense. You got to give Damage Control something at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to go with Damage Control in this one.
I got you. Montgomery, what are you thinking?
I guess Damage Control would have been better off coming back as faces, even though I don't know how that would have worked in the dynamic with the roster.
Come on, dude.
You know?
You can't do that. You can't just transform the whole thing. It's 3 months ago. Come on.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about. Oh, it's been a weird 3 months.
Try to do some sort of wrestling podcast over here.
Yeah.
Picks, Monty. Enough of this fault.
I'm going with the baby faces. Actually, I don't know. Rhea might pin Bianca. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope it's fun.
Here's my question. If Alexa was actually turning, would you have Corey Graves on the television show be like, look at Alexa, she don't give a fuck about this match? Because I certainly wouldn't.
No, but again, he might have just been popping himself.
He does that a lot.
Right, but then if you take that away, then what story is there that Alexa would turn if you take that part away?
Well,
why would she help? Why would she let Damage Control win? Hasn't she been feuding with him for 4 months?
Why are you thinking it's pro wrestling?
Oh, come on. I don't know, man. I'm just like, I genuinely think some of these things, like, we kind of, and look, no one will be happier for an Alexa heel turn than I would, but I do think sometimes we kind of like imagine these things are happening on the TV show.
It's happening, bro. I don't know if it's happening at WarGames, but it's happening.
Multiple people told me that she was standing far away from Bianca. I popped huge at this last night and sent Monty a photo, and then I logged on today and saw that she did like an explanation. And I was like, oh yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, remember like 6 months ago when she was supposed to face Bianca for the title, and then it ended up being Becky instead. They were setting that up, and then they never really got to it.
Yeah,
and she aligned with her instead.
Do you think that is in the thought process, like legitimately?
Maybe.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but like, do you think it is?
I think Alexa and Bianca's a match that you can run.
Oh yeah,
at the Alamo Dome, and it'll look not out of place at a stadium show.
Oh baby, I can do some content with the fucking all caps at the Alamo Dome. Monty, we could like claim that she drew the house and stuff. Oh, you wrote this, bro. All right, that's good stuff, Bob. You've sold me on it. All right, I'm gonna set the line. I'm gonna set an 8. The WarGames matches are very divisive online. If you actually look, like in our bubble, but if you actually look on Cage Match, they always get rated well, like almost always. Like some of the Undisputed Era ones are like 9s shit. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's just chaotic and spots and shit.
They're well done.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to say an 8 because I do think like this is a really strong lineup. You also know they're going to go crazy. Like they're going to do everything to make this thing work. So I'm going to go with an 8. Over under, Bobby.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Montgomery?
Under.
Oh, you were very quick on that. That felt dismissive. Why so quick to the under?
I don't know, man. Don't know if it'll have the heat.
Not sure all caps can keep up.
Oh no, she'll be the MVP.
Yeah. She'll come in last, throw a couple punches. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, she does the spot.
One of the greats, one of the great Twitter personalities here, Bobby. Look, all cats more of a draw than 97 HPK. Now we're cooking. I love you, brother. I hope you're well. All right, let's move on here. The men's WarGames match, the Brawling Brutes. For those of you at home, that is Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch. That's Pete Dunne, Bob. They team with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens, or as Manny calls him, Kevin Stink. I haven't quite figured out the root of that anger yet, but it's a thing he does. I wanted to mention it. They're up against the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Usos. That is Jay and Jimmy, for those of you keeping score at home. I'm very excited for this. This is a spectacular lineup for WarGames. The Bloodline in WarGames is like... I'm incredibly fired up, man. Yep. Roman Reigns in WarGames feels like a real spectacle. Very video game, which is funny because WarGames has never been on any video game ever made, but still, you get what I'm saying. It's very fantasy booking. I think the Usos are going to be fucking awesome in this thing, especially Jay. He's going to throw like 150 of those uppercuts that he throws, the old Glenn Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
Solo Sikoa, big spot for him. Sammy and Kevin are the emotional core. I am absolutely all the way on this. I mean, I love the women. involved in that match. All of them, it's honestly, that lineup is very much a bing bong affair. But this is unbelievable, you know?
Yeah.
This is loaded. Monty, I'm so fired up. You fired up for this one, brother?
Yeah, I'm fired up for this one. Can't lie. Even Graphy, you know. We should have had it ready, you know. But yeah, I'm fired up for it. So like people, especially on the babyface side, like you got Drew, who's just gonna like Drew's just gonna be walking around clubbing everyone. Sheamus is gonna do the exact same. Owens is gonna find ways to make you very worried that he's running around on one knee.
Bro,
you know,
Sheamus in this match. Oh.
Ridge is gonna drop people on the head. You know, Butch is gonna, you know, do his little thing where he breaks fingers and shit. You know,
if this was produced old school, like this could legitimately be like the greatest WarGames match ever. I don't think it will be that because, like, you know how they do these, right? Like, it could be great, but I don't think it'll be saying that I see that way. Like, if I could like time machine these dudes to a different time, here it is, bro. Look at this.
Jesus.
Look at Sheamus.
Look at that.
Fucking Sammy's face. Oh, it's beautiful, man. I cannot wait. Sheamus in this match is just perfection. Bobby, you as excited as Monty and I for this one?
I am. This is one of the times, like, I was excited for it already, but this is one of the rare times recently that they've done an angle where it's made me even more excited for the match. The way they ended SmackDown, if you haven't seen it, one thing from WWE to go out of your way to see from the last week, the last 5 minutes or whatever SmackDown, where, you know, Kevin Owens comes out, he's a big reveal, and he actually gets one over on Roman. It was great stuff, man. Just incredible angle, got me fired up. You know, you look at these 10 guys, and like the worst worker is probably Ridge Holland. Even he, in this, you know, context, is not bad at all. It's gonna be great, man. I think someone's gonna bleed. I actually do think that. I think they're gonna loosen the restriction for one night.
Who's gonna bleed?
Feels like
Drew.
Yeah.
For the boys.
Yeah, Drew. I mean,
he reclaims the razor blade for the boys.
Yeah. Speaking of Drew, you know, I know we've been down on him because he had a big loss and then feud with Karrion Kross for 2 months. He's still fine. Like, the crowd still like him. I mean, I guess I need to put it out of my mind that he's a giant loser now.
I mean, he's, in absolute fairness, Bob, look at this graphic again. Like, Sheamus and Kevin Owens are the top guys on this team. And I'm not saying that Drew was going to die by doing a feud with Karrion Kross, but like at one point he was like the face of a brand for them, man. Like, it is like a thing that's happened. We didn't imagine it. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. Yeah, I cannot wait. There's a good question here from our pal Don't Have an Out. I think this is an interesting point and could help the match even. Paul Lee's going to be involved in this, and for those of you who don't know, what I believe to be the greatest WarGames match ever, Paul Lee was at ringside for that. Famously has that great visual, of course, where he has the the ball and he's doing the tactics and arms fucking watching over him, the guys. And I mean, that's the greatest WarGames match ever. And, you know, he's a major factor, and he's not a guy who's going to just sit there and watch them put something together that he thinks sucks. He's involved in a lot of stuff, let alone stuff like this that's, you know, in his wheelhouse, involving guys that he's involved with. So there's a lot going for this. I really trust the instincts of, the Usos and Roman for this kind of match. I know they're not for everyone, but I do think they're going to bring an edge here. They're going to bring a physicality and an aggression that I think will really suit the match. Speaking of such, Sheamus and Drew, you know, we know what they do, right? They go in there and whack guys. And Ridge Holland doesn't have any choice to do anything but whack guys. That's what he does. So there's a lot to like here, man. I don't think this is going to be an Undisputed Era match with the bloodline plugged in. You know, they're going to put their own thing together, and I think it's going to be a lot closer to old school war. I'm going to go out, look, this could be completely escalated terribly. I think this is going to be closer to old school war games than like any war games we've got in either of the top promotions.
It's not going to have any like Ricochet fucking bullshit.
No.
You know?
I think like the Uso, I could see The Usos doing
I
some
like
high
Ricochet, that was
spots.
harsh.
He did, yeah, I get what you said. But like the Usos, I think, could do some high spots. And I guess like Kevin, Kevin's fucking.
Kevin will fall off something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll still have some big stunts, but I do think at heart it will be like a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing too. Unless they're really unlucky, this should have an old school crowd. Because for those of you who don't see the Bloodline segments, the crowd gets in a time machine when they come out. They react to them like it's like fucking, old school grabs. Like they react to these guys like it's life and death. I mean, they really respond to the stuff they're doing. So this could have old school heat. People screaming as the heels jump the babies from behind. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. There's just so much to like here that honestly, I'm setting myself up for disappointment, but I can't help myself. I just think it looks incredible.
Yeah, same.
If we'd have put this together 4 months ago, I think we'd have all looked at this and gone, fuck, if we come out with that, we're golden. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. In a minute, I saw that Andrew in the chat asked, we'll actually try in a minute to pick the order of the guys. We'll do that for both matches in a minute. But first, who are you taking here, Bobby? The Bloodline or the Brawling Brutes plus Drew and Kevin?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the baby faces here, kind of like I alluded to. I think Sami Zayn gets pinned, and that's kind of how you start that whole thing. I don't know if he maybe gets a match with Roman at the Rumble, or if they just kind of keep letting it build and wait till Elimination Chamber and do the tag title switch with him and Kevin, but kind of feels like you got to start that here.
Monty, what are you thinking? Babies or heels for the men's WarGames match?
I don't know, man. I've gone back and forth on it.
Yeah. When is the Montreal show? Because Willie's right. I think that's when they're going to do the Roman match.
February.
It's a long time, man.
Yeah, and he's not on the poster, so I don't know if they're just going to do the tag title match there instead. But
This is very hard. Very, very hard. I think the heels are going over. And I think Sammy's going to he's going to get given a chance to do the right thing, kind of, that kind of deal. Like Kevin sort of pleads with him and he doesn't. And I think the pay-per-view will go off the air with the Bloodline Santo and Cole will do his big, like, they're the greatest faction in WWE history. That's why I picked the babies. When I sat and thought about it, I was looking at the baby face, I was thinking, none of them guys, they won't see any of them as needing to win this. Do you know what I mean? And they want to establish the Bloodline as like, I remember when they had that trios match on pay-per-view and they won.
Yeah, so if the babies wins, who gets the pin?
That's what like Kevin, I guess, on Sammy. But then and here's the thing: does Sheamus need to win WarGames to feud with Roman? Like it's Sheamus, bro. He's like an institution.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Part of the furniture. I don't know. I kept coming back. I just think they're going to want it to be like a feather in the cap of the Bloodline, which is kind of what their programming is now. Right? That's my honest. That's why I went with the babies in the women's WarGames. Monty, lock it in. What are your prediction?
Because I'm with what Bobby was saying earlier regarding I think it'll be one baby, one face. And the babies will go over and the women's and the Bloodline will go over. And like you said, close the show. Michael Cole will be like the greatest faction of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You can get to this. If you're in February, they can shoot that angle like any which way of a TV main event where he fucks up somehow. Like he teams with Roman. You can do a bunch of. And again, I don't watch it closely, so I could be completely wrong. But I just can't shake the feeling that's what you'll hear at last at the end of the show, like the greatest faction in WWE history. And again, I don't think that's the right decision. I'm not invested or close enough to see what's right or wrong or how I feel about it. I just, I think they want this faction to be like part of the wrestling history books. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be. It's fucking awesome. So I haven't got a problem with that, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll let it play out.
I mean, they could do the whole Sammy Roman stuff on SmackDown too, though, because people watch SmackDown in high numbers every week.
Yes,
and there's no pay-per-views between now and the Rumble after this.
You can do the finish of this match in a way where Sammy shows some disloyalty.
Mm-hmm.
He can consider helping Kevin, and then boom, you pull the trigger, and they kill Kevin and pin him or whatever. And then the Bloodline cuts one of those, they do those big group segments that go on for 25 minutes that everyone loves because they're so fucking good at it.
Yeah.
They could do one of those and be like, why was you not, fighting alongside us there for a moment? Why, and they kind of question his allegiance and that. Like, I think there's a lot of ways to do it. And I'm not by any means clued in necessarily. I'm just thinking, but trying my best to anyway. Thinking's probably too strong a word. But I'm excited for it, which one matters most. I'm going to set the line at 9. I don't think that's overstating it. There's too much talent here, man. 9's the line. It's got to be. Over under, Monty, what you got?
Over.
Bob?
Yeah, I think I'm over too.
There you go. I can't argue with that.
Bro, if Drew or Sheamus runs the Razor,
Yeah.
cooking with gas.
Sheamus is going to be fucking unbelievable in this, man.
Yeah.
Like, so this is good from Ben. He says, Roman and Usos put a career-altering beating on Owens, which makes sense because Owens is probably going to go away for a little bit after this, right, to heal up.
Mm-hmm.
Zayn has mercy and just pins him, making Roman doubt him more. That's and then you do one of those segments, right? Like, what did you? Are you not fully committed to the Usos, whatever the fuck the blood? I don't know what they call this stuff. I don't know what I'm watching. You Usi shit. I don't know. People like it, man. It's over. Rock with it. Okay, let's guess the order. Right, here we go. Right, we're doing this like we're agents. We're not doing our own individual selections. We're doing it as a group committee. All right. Who's in first on the babyface team in the women's match? Just throw names out. It's this. Babyface team, women's WarGames. I think they lead with Asuka.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It would be quite smart, wouldn't it? Yeah, probably Asuka.
Asuka and Io are going to start the match, aren't they? Because then they could do the stare down and Triple H can fucking pump his fist backstage and high-five Brian James. Who thinks both of them are bad wrestlers? I think they're going to open it. Then that would mean the second heel would be Dakota, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this that naturally leads me in a direction I'm not sure they'll take with Alexa though, so maybe not. Maybe Bailey in second and Bianca.
No, because
last in is probably going to be. This not sad because some of them haven't had a chance board. The Return and Rhea are probably going to be the last two in, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because Rhea's like the role is she's like the game changer, right? Go on, Bob.
You could have Mia come in as a second babyface instead of Alexa, I guess.
Yeah, that works. Right, so we go Dakota and Mia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's the other heel?
Nikki.
Alexa and Nikki. They'll definitely pair them because that's the point of that. My bad. Right? I apologize, Nicola. And then Return and Rhea. Right? That works.
Yeah.
Okay. The men's match. Opening for the babyface is who? Little fella?
Yeah, probably one of those two. Probably Butch makes more sense than Ridge.
I think Drew's pretty banged up, wasn't he?
Fair.
I don't want to save him for down the stretch. Probably getting a fucking hour or two.
He's fucking crazy, I know.
Yeah.
He's quite nuts. Like,
the other problem with Butch is it's like you just don't want to lose the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, Drew. Like, Butch is he's a fellow Birmingham lad, supporting all power to him. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I think yeah, probably Drew. Yeah, maybe even KO. Like, even though he's banged,
you could start with them. I don't know.
No, that'd be KO.
One of the bang. He'll be one of the banged up guys.
It's gonna be Sheamus, dude. Sheamus is an animal, and he's like, he seems to have like got into the idea that he's like on a career year.
Mm-hmm.
His brand is he's now doing this like indie wrestler thing where it's like I just have bangers, like he's fucking working Reseda or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I'm quite uncomfortable with, but I support it because he's Sheamus.
It's because his version of a banger is like
he just.
I feel like he comes through the curtain like he is ringing fucked. Then he goes on Twitter and he just pumps him,
Banger. Right, who are we starting with? Come on.
I think it could be Sheamus, honestly.
Should we just go Sheamus? Fuck it. Let's ask him. All right. Jey Uso for the heels? I think it's Jay.
Yeah.
Because that suits Jay's character too, right? Him trying to be like him trying to lead the way. He's such an emotional. He's awesome, by the way. Sheamus and Jay can get us off and running. Then I think you put Butch in and Jimmy, right?
Yep.
Because the Usos need to be in there connected.
Yeah.
Then you go Drew, right?
Drew and
Bridge.
Let's keep Ridge, save Ridge a little bit. Match will be better for less Ridge. I like Ridge. You put, let's put Drew in there. Drew, you can do it easy. Here's the thing: if you're wondering why logically he would go before Ridge, just have one of the fucking heels call him a piece of shit, and he gets in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Drew, and then the heel side would be
probably Solo.
Solo, yeah. And ain't they kind of beefing?
Yeah.
Or not? All right. We'll do those two. Then we'll do Ridge and Roman, Kevin and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Works for me.
I don't know if...
You need Kevin and Sammy to come in together. I know they're not coming in at the same time, folks. I'm aware of this, but I mean, like in the room with the match.
I can't see Roman not coming in last.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's difficult. I understand.
If
So maybe
Roman
Drew's...
That'll be like a part of the match where like the crowd's waiting for Roman. Like that'll be like I'm getting.
It would be kind of an awesome moment if Sammy was like ready to get in, and Roman just fucking. You can know how you would do this too. Like he puts like his hand on Sammy's chest, pushes him back. Can you imagine the reaction to that? And the WWE would get like a fucking close up of everyone's face too. It would cut some in the crowd. The fucking Wade Barrett would leap up and down in the announce booth, That's what I would do, personally. I'm waiting to see Roman in one of those shitty little fucking cages that they built for people because they can't stand at ringside. Like normal wrestlers, you know what I mean?
What if Roman's just like I'm not standing in that and just starts?
There's a throne.
It just starts.
Yeah. Like standing in that shit. This is good. Roman comes in full, but walks so slowly to the ring that he actually enters last. That's good. Very good. I don't care, guys. I've got the fucking pencil. It's late night grin. I've got Roman in fourth, doing the moment I just laid out, and he can get in there just after Ridge Holland runs wild, all right? I don't give a shit. This is WWE WarGames. They're going to go another 30 minutes after that anyway. All right. Works for me. Very excited, legitimately. I loved the show. I think got a lot of matches because it has 2 war games. There's no need for a lot of matches on this show. Like, just please, if you're gonna have one more, if you have to, don't any more than that. Women's War Games match. I love the lineup. I'm intrigued by the Alexa heel turn that definitely won't happen, but we're going to pretend. And I'm very excited, as you guys can tell, by the men's War Games. Bobby, final thoughts on the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I was thinking about it earlier. Like, do I care about any of the matches other than the 2 war games? And I think I do. I think it's a really solid card. The war games matches are going to bookend it, which helps. There'll be stuff in the middle that's entertaining enough. But, obviously the show, kind of like we talked about, is about the 2 big war games matches. And it's good, though. I think it'll be really good.
Bob, tip of advice. When you're going to fake interest in certain matches on the show, don't do them after we just did an hour previewing the matches and you conceded you didn't care about them, because then it makes you, people could accuse you of being a liar.
Well, no, this was, earlier today when I was thinking about this. And over the course of the show, I've talked myself into most of these matches like we usually do on these.
Okay. I don't have that passing call, but people can review the tape and judge it how they would like. Monty, final thoughts on the Survivor Series? Good, isn't it?
I guess I think it's cool that obviously Triple H is bringing War Games to the main roster sort of thing, and it's like something new that you're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? It's something different that like Vince wouldn't have done.
Piece of shit.
And the 2 matchups. Obviously, there's a lot of stars. I'm a big fan for that.
All caps.
Regardless of wrestling ability, and I don't even have to sacrifice that with these matches either. So, the War Games matches got me fired up. The rest of the card, I'm I'll be honest, I don't really care about it.
Some people like to pretend.
Yeah, even a triple threat match, I recognise. I'm sure it'll be a well-worked match and stuff. And even in the moment, if Bobby Lashley's just going full meathead, which is more than likely, I'll probably be popping. But like I said, in the moment, I'll probably enjoy it. Ronda shots, it could be beautiful chaos. AJ Finn, I'm more intrigued than excited.
Yeah, it's like a case study almost, right?
That must go and report out.
Yeah.
Like he's a young NXT talent.
Fucking Monty writing in his phone notes. Nice flat back from AJ there. Spread his weight neatly there, brother.
Yeah, man. But like I said, the two WarGames matches got me fired up, especially the men's one. The men's one is like I'm quite shamelessly fired up for.
Yeah.
But like I said, outside of the WarGames matches, I'm not really, either here or there.
Works for me. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Fed Dead Redemption. We apologise for No the Oracle of Wrestling. He was booked for this program and left us high and dry 30 minutes before the first bell. I was going to say tweet him your dismay, but actually don't do that because I don't know why Oracle missed the show, so like that could be bad, you know? Like imagine I just encouraged the audience to kick the shit out of Oracle and he's like, hey man, like I was like rushed to the hospital because I was ill. I'd be like, Jesus, Oracle. I don't think he's been rushed. Well, he hasn't been rushed to the hospital, right? As far as we know.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. He's probably just watching football or something, right?
Yeah.
Watching fucking the AWA, greatest hits. Anyway, Oracle, we love you. We know you're never going to see this. But if you do, while you did let the fans down, like many a wrestler of yesteryear, we know that you've never judged any wrestler for doing that anyway, so we can't critique you. If it was a wrestler, you would simply say that is professional wrestling. So I would say the same thing. So follow him at the Oracle of Wrestling, which is also at King Motivator H. Follow Bobby at Bobby Two Shoes. Follow Montgomery at Lord Montgomery on Twitter.
Can I plug something real quick?
Oh, for fuck, yes. What?
Come on, man. Let me get my shit off.
Everyone should go with some guys. Everyone should go with some guys now.
Recipe channel live right now. Parker, I may join in just to pop myself.
They're doing a Puro draft, bro.
Just, even if you pop in for 5 seconds, give us the view. You know what I mean? We need it.
Yes.
Like we call our show the studio show. That's like the fucking.
They talk about wrestling on there though.
Don't you?
It's like that is very late night green con. They're doing a Puro draft. That's fucking awesome. I watch this immediately. So yeah, go watch that. I have reviews on WrestlePurist.com.
He does.
I have the Luchasaurus. He's a dinosaur, Bob, versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And I have the Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. Both match reviews. That'll be all my full gear match reviews because
you pull that Ben Dixon comment up, the Manny one.
How funny is that, man?
Parker, Jamie, and Murph have the official certified Manny Hooper seal for Puro guys. They're the only ones he'll vouch for. It's live on his Twitter right now. If you don't believe me, so even Manny's an advocate. So we try to put out good content. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do. We're a team.
We try.
Yeah. Also, while you're there and you watch Dumb Guys Live, you say this was fucking great, man. You pump your fist, get yourself an alcoholic beverage, you fucking slam your fist on the desk in celebration of the Puro draft, and you say, I want a little bit more of this Wrestle Purist business, And then you go on the YouTube channel and you click on the Wrestle Purist Worldwide from last night. How are we doing on viewership, Monty? We ain't got the shit kicked out of us again, have we?
No, listen, we passed it. The fans have got used to the time slot. You know what I mean? We're doing all right out here, brother.
Was the election on?
We are on 944.
Well, hello. That ain't bad. Especially there was competition on last night. Raw was on.
We'll get that up to 1K.
Works for me. Everyone get there. Help us. Samoa Joe was the thumbnail. Prove Samoa Joe can be a draw so we can send off his ballot to Dave. He might already be in. I don't know. Is he in? Is Samoa Joe in the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame? He's not, is he?
I don't think so.
No. Didn't work the Tokyo Dome, Bob. Am I right?
It's true.
Fucking great stuff. I love those jokes. They're definitely funny. All right. Go support the Wrestling Observer. And I'll be back tomorrow with the aforementioned Manny the Hooper, who will be joining me as always for an AEW Dynamite Grin Along. It's gonna be a great time. Tomorrow's show's stacked, bro. You see that? Looks good, man. You got
they're back.
Hager. Yeah. You got Game 2 of the NBA Finals. You've got All Ego and Absolute. I'm in, bro. Samoa Joe's going to unify the belts. That's for me. All right. So that's tomorrow. Thursday. Jason and Joe shows you have to be moved because I forgot Thanksgiving is a thing you guys do. Maybe I'll do, Monty and I can do a show where we just talk about being thankful for Great Britain, setting ourselves up for the English team's inevitable defeat on Friday against the USA. And then Thursday evening, I believe we're still doing the late night green. Shoot seemed to say he was doing it, right, Bob? Did I imagine that?
I'll be around. Shoot seemed like he'll be around. Right. So yeah, there
you go. Happy Thanksgiving this Thursday. LateNightGrin.com. If you need something to be thankful for, watch it some other time. That's Thursday. Friday, deciding the decade.
Yes.
Survivor Series. We go through the three really decades of Survivor Series. We rank them. We look at the ups, the downs. That'll be Friday night, probably before SmackDown, ideally, right, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, watch the pay-per-view if you want, if you're into that kind of thing. And we'll try and review this on like Sunday or Monday, right? Because next Tuesday we're doing Grappler, so we'll try and find a time slot.
Probably,
what do you think?
Hopefully, maybe Sunday. I think Sunday would be easier than Monday, but
I agree. I've got to Monty's show that he pays me for.
Yeah.
So, so that'll be something I look forward to, I guess. All right, we appreciate you guys. Keep grinning. Hope you've had a great night. I'll see you tomorrow for the Dynamite Grin Along. Oh, how, and in the meantime, enjoy this outro. God bless. Fuck, God bless. What the fuck am I doing?